Welcome back, Go Gunners family. Mikel Arteta confirms fresh Arsenal injury blow in Everton update on 5 stars. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the press ahead of the Gunners' Premier League clash against Everton, giving the latest injury news and more. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has ruled defender Ben White out of Saturday's clash against Everton through injury. The Gunners' head coach has, however, offered positive news on Gabriel and Kai Havertz's recovery and allayed fears over Martin Zubimendi. "Yeah, he's out," Arteta confirmed in his press conference. "He's evolving well. It's not a major injury, but it will keep him out for a few games, I think." Arsenal player ratings versus Crystal Palace. Kepa the hero as Spaniard among 6 8 out of 10s. Arsenal star absent from training pictures after colliding with teammate in Everton win. A worry appeared during the week for Arsenal, with Martin Zubimendi training away from the rest of the first team after coming off in the win against Wolves. However, there was brighter news for the Gunners, with Gabriel Magalhaes closing in on a return to action. The centre-back had been out since suffering an issue while on international duty with Brazil at the start of November. Arteta added, "He's pushing hard, as he always does every time he's out, and he's evolving really well. He's doing pitch sessions, so he's not too far. We have to see in the last stages of that rehab how he progresses, but we are quite positive about him." A worry appeared during the week for Arsenal, with Martin Zubimendi training away from the rest of the first team after coming off in the win against Wolves. But Arteta confirmed that it was merely load management for a few players who played a lot of minutes recently. Arsenal have recently welcomed Gabriel Jesus back from a serious injury, having been absent since January with an anterior cruciate ligament problem suffered in the FA Cup loss against Manchester United. And there appears to be more good news on the way in the attacking line, with Kai Havertz closing in on a return from his own knee issue, also suffered against Ruben Amorim's team, this time in the first match of this season back in August. However, the Arsenal boss remains cautious over when exactly the German international will return to the fold, insisting that he wants the attacker to be back for good when he is recovered. "He's progressing really well and quite fast in the last few weeks," Arteta said. "We are really positive that if everything continues like that in the next training sessions, he's going to be with us." I don't want to say what game he will return for, because in that last part of rehab, I think we need to be cautious. We need to affirm that when he's back for the long term. Victor Gyökeres has also suffered a start-start season for the Gunners, with an injury ruling him out of most of the November calendar. He made a comeback as a substitute against Chelsea at the turn of the month, before starting both the wins against Club Brugge and Wolves. Arteta admitted that there has been an adaptation period for the striker since moving back to England, but is confident that there is more to come from the Swedish star. "He had to adapt to the league. He had no preseason, and he's a player that needs that. Then he kicked on. He had a really good period. And now he's back. I saw a lot of positive things that he's done. We need to understand him a little bit better." You can imagine the global impact that you're going to have to deal with, but afterwards, you have to live it. He's doing it with a lot of desire and commitment. It's absolutely top. We need time. There's always moments, and we need to be there for him. Is he going to be much better in the second half of the season? I think so, yes. I don't think it's going to be a major problem, and Ben is a really fast healer as well, so there's hope that we're going to have him in the next few games. However, there was brighter news for the Gunners, with Gabriel Magalhaes closing in on a return to action. The centre-back had been out since suffering an issue while on international duty with Brazil at the start of November. Arteta added, "He's pushing hard, as he always does every time he's out, and he's evolving really well. He's doing pitch sessions, so he's not too far. We have to see in the last stages of that rehab how he progresses, but we are quite positive about him." A worry appeared during the week for Arsenal, with Martin Zubimendi training away from the rest of the first team after coming off in the win against Wolves. Arsenal get Carabao Cup tie boost as Crystal Palace suffered damaging triple blow. Arsenal host London rivals Crystal Palace in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup on Tuesday evening. Arsenal have received a potential boost ahead of their Carabao Cup quarter-final tie against Crystal Palace, with their opponents suffering from mounting injury problems. The Gunners will host Oliver Glasner's side at the Emirates Stadium on Tuesday night, with a place in the semi-finals of the competition up for grabs. Arsenal have reached the semi-finals of the tournament twice in the last 5 years, but have not made it to the final since 2018. Palace, on the other hand, enjoyed success in the FA Cup last term when they lifted the trophy, but their record in the Carabao Cup is less promising. They were knocked out at this stage last season, by Arsenal nonetheless, and have not made it to the semi-final since 2012.
Both Arsenal and Palace were in Premier League action on Saturday night, with the Gunners clinching a narrow 1-0 win away at Everton, courtesy of a Victor Gyökeres penalty, while Palace fell to defeat away at Leeds United. Arsenal lineups versus Crystal Palace decided as Mikel Arteta makes 8 bold changes. Arsenal star absent from training pictures after colliding with teammate in Everton win. The quick turnaround ahead of Tuesday will be tight for both sides, but especially for Palace given their mounting injuries. The loss at Ellen Road was the first of a triple blow for Glasner this weekend, particularly because of the knock-on effect it could have on squad availability. Palace are already with Ismaila Sarr due to his involvement in the Africa Cup of Nations. He and Senegal will begin their campaign against Botswana on Tuesday. Defender Daniel Munoz is also sidelined with a knee injury that requires surgery. He is not expected to be fit again until late January, so has no chance of being involved on Tuesday night. Glasner informed reporters earlier this month, "It's bad news. We will miss Danny for a few weeks, and he will undergo surgery. The prognosis is 4 to 6 weeks, then he should be ready to play. But always when you undergo surgery, you never know. We are always cautious. It doesn't look so serious." Palace are also managing the fitness of striker Jean-Philippe Mateta, who has been nursing a knee issue in recent weeks. He did feature in the defeat against Leeds, but was substituted with a little over 10 minutes left to play. The tight turnaround could give Glasner something to think about ahead of Tuesday, especially as the Frenchman has been playing through pain and his minutes are being managed. Whether he is able to start against Arsenal remains to be seen, but any potential absence would be a major blow for the Eagles. To make matters worse, Palace are also without Daichi Kamada for the foreseeable future. He sustained a serious hamstring injury earlier this month and is expected to be sidelined for several weeks, leaving no possibility of him featuring against the Gunners. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment.